11 peak mindsets to help you achieve success early. Welcome to the Art of Wealth and Fortune. Ordinary people change results. Excellent people change causes. And top masters change their mindsets. Stanford psychology professor Carol Dweck stated in her research on lifelong growth, the difference between people is not due to talent or the level of hard work, but due to their mindset. A person's level of thinking determines the ceiling of their life. Here are 11 top mindsets. Cultivating them will help you achieve success sooner than others. Number 1. Adaptive mindset. A raindrop weighs about 50 times the weight of a mosquito. With gravitational acceleration, the impact of the raindrop on the mosquito is no different than a bus crashing into a human. So why do most mosquitoes remain safe on rainy days? An American professor used a high-speed camera to record mosquitoes escaping in the rain. When a raindrop hits a mosquito's wings and legs, it will tilt itself in the direction of the drop and then roll over so the water slides off its body. Their bodies are covered with a water-repellent material like a lotus leaf, which helps them easily escape the drop by just stretching their legs and wings. Even when hit directly by a raindrop, the mosquito follows the drop's pushing force and falls with it,
then quickly adjusts its posture to separate from the drop and continue flying. No matter how heavy the raindrop is, the mosquito can still escape danger, thanks to its ability to continuously adjust its strategy to the environment and situation. This also proves Darwin's view in the theory of evolution that the species that survives is neither the strongest nor the most intelligent, but the one that is most responsive to change. Andy Grove, the founder of Intel, once proposed the theory of 10x speed change. External changes are always 10 times faster than what we predict. Just look, how many stable jobs have been completely transformed? How many prosperous professions are being replaced by virtual reality and AI? In this constantly moving era, if we want stability, we must proactively adapt to change. Number 2. Probabilistic thinking. After World War II, the U.S. military tasked statisticians at Columbia University with analyzing data and devising optimal strategies to minimize aircraft losses. They statistically noted that the distribution of bullet holes on different parts of the returning planes was uneven, and suggested reinforcing the areas that were hit the most. At first glance, it sounds reasonable. But the talented mathematician Abraham Wald disagreed. He argued that they should reinforce the place with the fewest bullet holes, the engine. Wald explained that from a probabilistic point of view, every part of the plane had an equal chance of being hit. So why were there fewer bullet holes on the engine?
He surmised. Planes hit in the engine couldn't return, while planes with bullet holes on other parts could land safely. This is similar to having more patients with leg injuries than chest injuries, not because the legs are more easily injured, but because those injured in the chest have usually already died. Ordinary people only see the planes that were hit, but masters see the missing bullet holes. The gap between them lies in probabilistic thinking. Investment master Charlie Munger once likened his investment wisdom to a story about fishing. The first rule of fishing is to fish where the fish are, and the second rule is to always remember the first rule. Throughout our lives, we face 3 problems. What should we do? What should we not do? And what should we repeat? Probabilistic thinking helps us realize what we can do, what we should not do, and what we need to do long term. Number 3. Leverage mindset. In the 1990s, the British Library needed to move over 13 million books from its old premises in London to the new one at St. Pancras. The moving cost was estimated at £3.5 million. If you were the library manager,
What way would you think of to reduce costs? Hire cheaper labor? Cut shipping costs?
He surmised planes hit in the engine couldn't return, while planes with bullet holes on other parts could land safely. This is similar to having more patients with leg injuries than chest injuries, not because the legs are more easily injured, but because those injured in the chest have usually already died. Ordinary people only see the planes that were hit, but masters see the missing bullet holes. The gap between them lies in probabilistic thinking. Investment master Charlie Munger once likened his investment wisdom to a story about fishing. The first rule of fishing is to fish where the fish are, and the second rule is to always remember the first rule. Throughout our lives, we face three problems. What should we do? What should we not do? And what should we repeat? Probabilistic thinking helps us realize what we can do, what we shouldn't do, and what we need to do long term. Number 3. Leverage mindset. In the 1990s, the British Library needed to move over 13 million books from its old premises in London to the new one at St. Pancras. The moving cost was estimated at £3.5 million. If you were the library manager, what way would you think of to reduce costs? Hire cheaper labor? Cut shipping costs?
While most people remain stuck in one-dimensional thinking, people with four-dimensional thinking can see from the past to the future, spanning hundreds of years to make decisions. They focus on long-term benefits. For example, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. He is willing to invest billions of dollars in experiments that might fail, or take up to 7 years to turn a profit. Masayoshi Son, the founder of SoftBank, once asked his employees why most people do not achieve great success. The employees were confused. Masayoshi Son drew a mountain on paper, a circle below the mountain, and another circle on the mountaintop. The two circles were connected by the word ideal. He said, "Ideals are like a lighthouse leading the way. When you have a clear goal, you will be more patient, calmer, and more persistent. Short-term success will not make you lose your direction, and temporary failure will not scare you. Therefore, do not overestimate the short-term achievements of 1 year, nor underestimate the changes of 10 years. Always do the right thing you need to do. Time will give you the answer."
At that time, he was responsible for improving the conversion rate from search to ads. That time, the company's business team noticed that the conversion rate of Chinese users was low, and suggested to the technical department that they should increase the ad font size and change the background color to make it stand out more. Instead of adjusting directly, he and his team asked, "What is the core problem you want to solve?" After discussion, they realized that the business team wanted to increase the conversion rate. When investigating further, they discovered the Chinese portal websites often contained many banners at the top, causing users not to pay attention to the top of the page, but scroll straight down. The Google ad display position was right at the top. After that, they moved the ad position to the bottom of the page, and the conversion rate increased. Top engineers do not just focus on writing code. They also see the human needs behind the lines of code. This is upstream thinking. Number 6. Lazy ant mindset. At Hokkaido University, a research team on evolutionary biology conducted an experiment with 3 groups of ants, 30 ants in each group, to observe how they divided the work. They found that most ants in the colony were very diligent, busy cleaning the nest, transporting food, and caring for the young. But some ants appeared very lazy, just wandering around and looking while the others were working.
Biologists called these ants lazy ants and marked them. Surprisingly, when the colony's food source was cut off, the diligent ants became panicked. The marked lazy ants took the initiative to lead the colony to find a new food source. In fact, these ants were not truly lazy, but spent time scouting and exploring. This is called the lazy ant effect. Psychologist Jordan Peterson once offered a self-checklist as follows. You spend a lot of time on the easiest tasks and are complacent that you put in a lot of effort even without achievement. Procrastinate under the guise of preparation. You seem busy, but in reality there is no progress. Never check the results of your work. You read a lot of books but never summarize the rules, or if you do summarize, you never apply it to life. If you have the above signs, it's time to change. When plunging ahead, don't forget to look up further to clearly see the direction. Number 7. Context mindset. In the mid-19th century, psychologist Kurt Koffka proposed the theory of context. He stated that the external environment has two types. One is the geographical environment, which is the real environment. The second is the behavioral environment, which is the environment in human imagination.
He told a story like this. One winter night, a man rode a horse to an inn in a blinding snowstorm. He was happy to have found shelter. The innkeeper was surprised to greet him and asked the man where he had come from. The man pointed towards the direction outside the inn. Hearing this, the innkeeper said in horror, "Do you know you have just ridden a horse across Lake Constance?" Upon hearing this, the man immediately collapsed at the innkeeper's feet. When the man rode across the lake was the geographical environment, but in his mind it was just a snow-covered field. If he had known he was crossing a large, dangerous lake, he probably wouldn't have dared to ride his horse fast on it, but precisely because he thought it was solid ground, he was able to continue his journey. After learning the truth, he was so shocked that he collapsed. Humans are products of their environment. The best way to change yourself is to always put yourself in a nurturing environment. If you want to increase concentration, create an undisturbed space. If you want to raise awareness, remove low-quality short video apps and read classic books instead. If you want a positive mood, stay away from things that bother you. Argue less with others and spend more time immersed in nature.
If you are dissatisfied with the current situation, start by changing your environment. Changing yourself starts right now. Number 8. Pivot mindset. Not every wall is worth crashing into. Life inherently has many possibilities, and there is no rule that forces you to follow one path to the end, even if you face difficulties. When the path is blocked, changing direction in time is the best way to be responsible for your life. A netizen shared a story about his cousin. She was over 30 and had a stable job, but in the eyes of her relatives, she was still considered a leftover woman. Every time the family gathered, she couldn't avoid being questioned by her aunts and uncles. Later, her parents asked someone to introduce a young man to her. The two had similar interests and quickly developed feelings for each other. Before long, they discussed getting married. One day, the cousin accidentally found a message on her boyfriend's phone and learned that he had a gambling habit. Nearly his entire monthly salary was spent on this, and his family even helped him conceal it. Initially, she tried to persuade him to quit, as gambling is very addictive. Although he didn't object, he didn't heed the advice.
Then, one day, he suddenly came to borrow money from her to cover living expenses. She was surprised and asked why he needed to borrow money when he had just been paid. He replied, "I've lost everything." He even became annoyed and blamed her, saying she was interfering in his affairs before they were even married. Hearing this, she said nothing more, immediately turned her back and went straight home. That evening, she proactively suggested breaking up. The next day, both families continuously advised her to reconsider. They thought the young man would change and that she shouldn't give up easily. But she still resolutely chose to break up. Afterward, she met a better man. As for the young man, due to gambling, he accumulated heavy debt, even lost his job, and had to flee from debt. Not all persistence yields results, but there are things you shouldn't persist with forever, as that is just stubbornness. Wise quitting is better than blind obstinacy. Only by stopping in time and pulling your foot out of the mire can you find a new life. Number 9. Gap-filling mindset, problem solving. If you cannot solve the problem, you will become the problem. The writer Zhu Ling recounted a story from when he had only been at the company for 3 days. The CEO suddenly called him into the office and severely criticized him for the company's terrible website.
He explained that he was not in charge of the website. The CEO showed no concern and said, "I don't care who is in charge. If a problem has been found, you must quickly reform it. I want to see the new version released within 30 days." At that moment, Zhao Ling was stunned. He had only been working for 3 days and knew absolutely nothing about website operation. But he quickly understood that this was a trap set by his predecessors to test him. Many people might have refused to take the job. But Zhao Ling did not refuse. He just nodded and got to work. Throughout that month, he was constantly busy, planning specialized sections, finding technicians, and coordinating the work of the UI design team. And in the end, he was able to launch the new version before the deadline. The CEO was very satisfied and later discovered that he was not originally the person in charge of the website. This made the CEO appreciate him even more and suggested to the general manager to appoint Zhao Ling as product department manager. At the same time, he nominated him as the group's outstanding employee of the year after just over a month of working. From a new employee, Zhao Ling became a valued person by his superior thanks to his gap-filling ability. Zhao Ling said that every time he had to fill a gap was an opportunity. The ability to solve problems is the best measure of competence.
Work is always a series of pits following pits, and your job is to learn how to fill the pits well. When faced with difficulties, excellent people often know how to find solutions, while ordinary people try to justify their incompetence and evade responsibility. How far a person can advance depends on the magnitude of their gap-filling ability. Number 10. Wooden bucket mindset, strengths-focused. Don't let your weaknesses ruin your advantages. A truly smart person is one who both clearly knows their strengths and sees their weaknesses. Instead of constantly trying to confront weaknesses, find a way to maximize your strengths and find your own shining moments. There was a famous German scientist named Otto Wallach. When he was young, he followed his parents' wishes and studied literature. But he himself had no interest in literature. After one semester, the teacher had to inform his parents that Wallach is very diligent but too stubborn. A person like this, even with perfect virtue, cannot excel in the field of literature. His parents then had him study painting. But in visual arts, he still didn't show any special talent, until a chemistry teacher discovered that Wallach was a meticulous person and had a talent for experimentation, and he decided to pursue chemistry. Thanks to his meticulous personality and excellent practical ability, he developed into an outstanding talent in the field of chemistry. In 1910, he won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his success in synthesizing artificial fragrances. A smart person is one who knows how to promote strengths and avoid weaknesses. Only then can they open up a life path that is increasingly broad and smooth. Number 11. Empty cup mindset. Sometimes resetting life requires emptying the mind. A young man, after failing in his startup, blamed the era and the surrounding circumstances. Then, after hearing his parents talk about an enlightened Zen master at a temple, he decided to visit him. Initially, the Zen master's disciple greeted him, but he acted arrogantly and said, "How can a young monk be qualified to receive me?" Only by always knowing how to empty oneself and not cling to the past can we rebuild the future. The actress Mai Yili once shared a small detail on a show about when she acted with Qin Dao Ming. Qin Dao Ming, a famous actor known for his professional skill and attitude, demonstrated that ability through his lines and actions. After the scene was finished, Qin Dao Ming did not rush to leave, but stood quietly on the side, attentively watching the young actors perform. Mai Yili couldn't hold back her curiosity and asked, "Teacher Qin, you often stand and watch us perform. Is there something you want to instruct us on?" Qin Dao Ming smiled and replied, "Although I am a senior, I always keep in line that I must maintain a learning attitude. I blend in with the younger generation without any arrogance."
As a top national actor, Qin Dao Ming still maintained the spirit that, among 3 people walking, there must be one who was my teacher, always humbly learning. It is precisely thanks to this empty cup mindset that his acting skills became increasingly masterful. Excellent people dare to erase the past and start from scratch to create a better version of themselves. Education is the bronze medal, competence is the silver medal, relationships are the gold medal, and mindset is the trump card. The correct thinking method is much more important than effort. The achievements you attain in this life depend on your thinking model. The way of thinking determines the path. Where the mindset cannot reach a certain height, the footsteps cannot reach there either. The books you read, the paths you walk, the people you meet are all paving stones to help upgrade your mindset. Continue to sharpen your mind in this world and cultivate your inner self. And one day, you will transcend your own limitations to see a greater world. Thank you for watching today's content. If you find my content valuable, don't forget to share it with your friends and family. Make sure to follow me to uncover more secrets of money. Goodbye, and I look forward to seeing you again.